it should be a good game because these two teams are, of course, in the semi-finals. However, they have played before, and it was almost a complete victory for Recursion, despite Recursion only having 200 more kills. However, VCats have been improving, and they managed to knock out UGO last week. And if you didn't manage to watch that game, go back on the channel, go watch that, because we had a multi-POV cast. And guess what, Juicebox?
What?
We had the same thing again today. So,
No
all
way.
being well, and all being well, some of the technical difficulties, right, may or hopefully have been worked out. Okay, and indeed, we also have a new desk. Thank you to Brad Verunda and the Phoenix Art Club for the new desk. If you might recognize it, I think it's from In Game. Is that You got the little
I
console
actually
as well.
love this so much. Yeah, the
Yeah,
little control point to the side, the orbital arm.
yeah. There's an
It's so
interest.
good.
There's an interesting mug of coffee you've got there.
Yes, I prefer juice, but sometimes I delve into some other drinks.
Subterranean nano analysis. Subterranean. Look, listen. Subterranean. Yeah, that word, right? Subterranean nano
Yeah,
analysis, right?
yeah.
That was interesting
I miss
base.
that base. I do
Grenade
miss it.
analysis, I think
Yeah.
is what it was called.
All I'm saying is the cup's accurate.
Okay, well there we go. So let's talk a little bit about the teams. I did reach out to both Force commanders for comment as I usually do, but only the Recursion Force commander replied to me this week. And the question that I want to just quickly talk about was this. I said, obviously, the two teams have played before. So given that, how are Recursion feeling? And Saint Celestine, who's the Force commander for Recursion, replied with confident, but VCats has had a lot of time to improve, and their air looks strong against UGO. So Recursion are definitely taking it quite seriously.
Yeah, and I don't
And
blame them.
mm,
VCats just being here in the semifinals is enough for them to have that concern. But I mean, we'll see, because Recursion always carries themselves with a certain confidence. So
mhm.
I'll be very interested to see how VCats has adapted and how they might change their plays based off the last game.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, right, the air game is so important for Outfit Wars, right? Just like how it's been important in other kind of planet side events such as Lane Smash and Community Smash and Server Smash. The air, the air is the most important domain, and both Recursion and VCats have brought in extra air players. One of which for Recursion we actually have a POV stream for today, that being Hable. So it'll be really interesting to get that inside pilot perspective of what's going to be happening in that air fight.
Yes, again, we do have many POVs. I'd like to quickly thank all of our volunteers and back to Zolfer for setting all this up. So it's going to be a very fun cast. The game
Yeah,
is going to start very soon.
and I think we should be heading. We're going to be heading in game in a second here. Now, when it comes down to the openers, what I expect, okay, Juice, what I expect is I
Hmm.
expect a lot of fighting over the traditional granite head uh, reactor, as well as, of course, the Bitter Gorge Garrison, right? This is where I expect
Hmm.
to see most of the fighting happen. Arazek, as we know, isn't very important. And here we go. Here we can see the openers. What do you think
Yeah.
about the Recursion opener, which is the blue side today?
It honestly, it may just be the bulkiness of the Reaver, but it looks like they're focusing a little more air. I can see a few galaxies there on the VCAT
Mm-hmm.
side, so I'm interested to see how they utilize those. Whether they're going to keep them in the air or they're going to have squads in there ready to drop on these side bases. Maybe they might not focus on Granite Head.
Indeed. So obviously we can see that VCats have four. It looks like at least three galaxies, maybe one more hiding. Um, and there's a Sunderer there for Recursion. I think I can also see a Sunderer or two for VCats. So it'll be interesting to see if, a couple Valkyries there for VCats. So they'll be dropping people with the way they're set up. Yeah, they're going to be dropping people in the most northern
Yep,
base. And
that's
here
how I
we go.
expect it. Here we go. Off to the
Now the
races. Let's see their battles.
so the chat, 87% in favor of Recursion to win. And if I had to put any money on it, I'd probably say Recursion comes away with the W, 60-40. But it's definitely open doors. Oh, a couple of air collisions there. VCAT's going for a
Looks
ramming
like a lot of air
tactic.
collisions. I think they're just going straight kamikaze tactics.
That's that's an interesting
Very interesting because
opener.
I don't think anyone really comes away with a net positive in terms of
I mean, we
nanites.
can see the stats at the top of the board. Vehicle kills now slightly in Recursion favour, 15-11. But yeah, okay. I'm
Ooh, looks like
really
VCats is
interested
holding
in.
back over that ridge.
Yeah, I mean, playing more passive on the air game is, I think, is better because then you can stay near your galaxies. And here's Bittergorge Garrison. Yeah, as predicted,
Some
straight away
vanguards up for
instant
recursion.
contest. Yeah, well, we saw how good VCats utilize the armor last week against UGO, so this makes sense as to why Recursion has invested some MBTs here. And here
Ooh, here we
is
have
the
a really great
Zyros POV. Zyros, very skilled infantry player, and clearly has a little bit of air skill as well. Not a bad first kill.
shout out to all y'all in chat who don't know how to fly.
Myself being one of them, I'll tell you that now, Keith. And we've just switched POV to Zyros. So I think that was Hable. It was Hable on the first POV, and Zyros on this one. I think. Unless I missed him jumping out. Takes down Ashen on the KPM player. If that is actually Ashen, it might just be a alt account. And VCAT's here taking the A point. Oh,
Yeah, I wonder if this squad dropped from one of those Valkyries that we saw at the beginning of the match.
yeah, it
We do
probably. I
have
think
a
it
good
is.
amount of infantry here.
Yeah, there's probably about a squad worth of infantry here. Nothing happening at Auerzek as
Absolutely
predicted.
nothing. Yes.
Although of course there's a couple Sundays, but you know, there's nothing
Points are
really.
starting to flip there, but it's very slow. That's usually the last space to go through.
Doesn't look like there's as many Sundays as we tend to see at Granite Head. This, to me, indicates a early focus on
Ooh,
airplay.
but if you notice on the mini map, the galaxies look to be parked above. They may have them deployed with the Lodestar.
So I'm just going to bring up the top vehicle kills, and Recurge with that early lead on vehicle kills.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised there's still that much
49 to
air up
37.
this far into the match. That air that air fight is very prolonged.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got. So Recursion was landed at repair galaxies.
Oh wow.
I really don't have a problem with that, but it does indicate that VCATs are being super passive. In fact, you can see it on the minimap there in the bottom left, just how passive the VCATs air is being. And considering Recursion have that early vehicle kill lead, there's no
Ooh, an
surprise
orbital
there.
looks like it's gonna go off on VCAT's armor. Heading up here. Oh,
Yeah, that should get at least one of them. No, got nothing, I
nope,
think.
K
Yeah, it
bomb
absolutely
empty.
got nothing. It got nothing. It did a little bit of damage. It slammed one of the mag riders in the hill, which
It got him
prompted
to
his bird
move,
and be
but
destroyed.
yep, not ideal.
Okay.
The
So now,
Turkey's held up here in C at Bitter Gorge.
yeah, this just looks like a time wasting play. Gives their force commander 3 minutes and 40 seconds to do something else on the map. And as you can see there, the squad waypoints are all over the place. So it is just the one squad currently for Recursion here. Well, that and
They're
some
doing
armor.
their job. They're definitely doing their job because VCATS has a lot of infantry and resources devoted to Bitter Gorge right now,
So
just for
in
that
their
reason.
first match in the group stage, VCATS and Recursion actually took the Garrison base. And then they ended up taking Granite Head reactor after that. So if they pull off the same tactic here, that's really, or same strategy, I should say here, that'd be really interesting. But it looks like they're investing a little bit more into Granite Head. And at the moment, I think Granite Head has a more favourable timer than Bitter Gorge Garrison. And if it stays that way, Recursion could do the reverse of what they did in the group stage match. They can take Granite Head, and then they can take Bitter Gorge.
Ooh, looks like VKTZ is starting to push Recursion out of Bitter Gorge here, but I'd imagine they're hoping for a trade at the least.
Well, so the Bitter Gorge Garrison is so important because it has an air terminal, which the middle base doesn't, and it also has 3 links, right, which the middle base does. But the thing is, you have to, I think it's widely accepted amongst FCs that you have to get one of these bases in the opener. You either get the top base or you get the middle base. If you get the bottom base, okay, whatever, like that's an added bonus, but you have to get one of these other bases. Most opening strategies, if not all of them, at least the good ones, revolve around getting one of these bases. And as you can see, VKTZ now, they're most likely going to get this, but here we go. A late potential still here. BNC both flipping here. For Recursion, are they able to do anything here?
Ooh.
Or good resonate?
Competitive planet side.
Not enough.
Not enough. VKTZ gets Bitter Gorge.
VKTZ gets Bitter Gorge. Can we flip over to the middle base? Flip over to the reactor, please. And the air battle continues. There's a lot of resources in the air here. But the middle base does go through.
Granite Head goes through to Recursion, yep. I'm surprised not even a ghost cap has gone through on the southern base.
So there are, like, I think like 1 or 2 people fighting over Arazek is what we saw earlier. They both had deployed buses and they're both just trading one another, trying to stall. Recursion are able to utilize their victory at Granite Head Reactor. They're starting to flip hydroponics compound.
Looks like it got defended though. And
yeah,
Recursion seems to have rotated over to Bitter Gorge. If we see that timer ticking on the map.
So although VKTZ and Recursion are currently drawing, Recursion still have a little bit more momentum. The fact they've able to be able to take A and C here at Bitter Gorge, whilst putting a little bit of pressure on hydroponics compound. Oh, look at that! That's clean aim. Unlucky to not get a kill there.
I think the big thing here, just off that first opening play, now that both bases have gone through, we're starting to see how Recursion is just that much quicker with their ability to rotate and get popped to another base, because they have 2 timers ticking now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that, because actually, if we look at the stats, if I remember correctly from the group stage match, there was only about a 300 kill differential between the 2 teams, and yet Recursion won that match 8-1. So definitely there's a lot to be said for Recursion being able to move around the map quickly, and a lot of that is in part due to their air presence. And although VKTZ are contested in the air, they're starting to lose, as I say, the momentum on the ground. So here we are next to secure substation. Just a small harassing force of Recursion here. Probably trying to split up the VKTZ forces so they can't focus too much on defending Bitter Gorge Garrison. Ninja going down.
Yeah, and that being said, VKTZ seems to at least be allocating their pop very well, because they're not over rotating to these defenses. Totally. We saw there, they only had like 4 or 5 people to take down 3 Recursion. I'd say that's a pretty good infantry squad to send over.
So again, we 10 minutes in now. Statistics are looking so tight. 30 kill differential, 15 or 20 vehicle differential, slight medical favor for VKTZ for the reses, but still 4-4 on what matters, which is the base caps, right? And don't forget, whichever team wins this match goes to the grand final, and whichever team loses will be playing for the third and fourth decider match. Back in with Zyros now. Takes a quick peek. That's a seriously committed re-peek.
Yeah.
We can assume he got one. Yeah, he did get one. There we go.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yep.
Yeah. Before going down, what does he die to there? LA on the other roof.
LA.
No one
Yeah.
calls it out. So we're here back at NSS. It's the southernmost base on the continent. Looks like Recursion was still harassing.
I was just
I
about
think
to say, I'm seeing a
Recursion.
lack of air support, but there's a reaver from Recursion providing that. Multiple reavers.
Yeah. And that's important to do it because, as you can see, right, you've got a couple of Recursion galaxies flying over Bitter Gorge. The VKTZ Air Force doesn't seem to actually be here right now. I mean, we see a Valkyrie flying around on a mini-map, but that's nothing really special to note. Miss Desi there from Mercury gets absolutely destroyed by the shotgun, I think that was. Oh no.
Ooh,
Air to ground.
those rocket pods, man. Oh, and the dodgy using the spawn room as cover for the lock-ons.
Smart move,
It's a good
smart
pilot
play.
right there.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like VKTZ have just about covered. Oh, as we might say, they've just about recovered B point, but they haven't really. Recursion is still fighting for it, and that timer continues to tick at Nexus Secure Substation. So again, momentum seriously in favour of Recursion. And you know, if you're the Force Commander for VKTZ, which I think is XP tonight, you know, you don't want to give up Bitter Gorge because then you're severely limited in options. But the fact that you weren't able to capitalize on its capture, whilst Recursion were able to capitalize on their capture of Granite Head Reactor, it's got to be seriously troubling, especially as we now approach about 30 minutes to go here.
Yeah, and now we're starting to see Recursion has made significant process. Looks like Nexus Secure is about to go through, and they're getting Arizek behind it as well. So there's going to start getting pressure on their home base very
Can
soon.
we go back to the Nexus Secure Substation, please? Because I want to watch this final 25 seconds. I want to see if they're going to use those repair galaxies and the Valkyries for a last-minute save, and it is going to be very last moment because 20 seconds to go. Yep, there's a little bit here. There's at least one drop, but I'm sure it's going to be too late. Gets air to grounded again, highlighting the importance of air control here for Recursion, which is of course the NC
Looks
faction.
like Nexus Secure goes through for Recursion. I'm very interested to see how quickly Recursion gets onto the home base.
And of course, whilst I imagine it's pretty much instant. However, VKTZ have fully resecured Bitter Gorge, but because Bitter Gorge is a three-pointer, they only need to flip 2 of the points, right? They only need to flip 2 of the points. They don't need to flip all 3 to stop the back cap. Speaking of back caps, Nexus Alpha, here we go. Recursion now.
There's a lot of vehicles outside of Nexus Alpha from VKTZ.
Yeah, I mean, that is a serious, as you say, serious nanite investment. And look how many scythes there are. Why?
Yeah, I do wonder what they intend to use these for.
Because
I'd imagine they don't have 2 full squads of pilots that could take on Recursion's air that's been up from pretty much the whole match.
Well, I think they could, but they just seem to be playing so passive, like the entire first 15 minutes of the match. You know, we saw that the air-to-ground usage at Bitter Gorge and Nexus Secure Substation. So, okay, yeah, you're fighting for air control, but you don't necessarily need to take the whole air control. It's all about timing air control to a point where you have it in the most relevant places at the most relevant time. And if there's one criticism we could say about the VKTZ air, is that they haven't actually achieved that, despite keeping so many scythes up in the air. And Recursion are able to capitalize on this by using their air at the right time to help support their infantry take bases. And that is why one of the main reasons why Recursion is leading 6-3.
Yeah, and here I think we're starting to see, like, Recursion still has point here in Nexus Alpha. They don't have that much pop here, and they're getting pop back to Bitter Gorge, and now getting points at Bitter Gorge, and that it might go through soon too. I'm very interested to see how VKAT starts to divide their pop to attend to this.
So if I'm, if I'm playing VCATs right now, you've only kind of got one option. Your option is send your air control to Bitter Gorge Garrison, send a squad of your best shooters to Bitter Gorge Garrison, right? Try to save it, okay? The other 2 squads spare that you have half of them in vehicles clearing up recursion vehicles at Nexus Alpha and using them to provide ground-based AA, whilst the other squad and a half takes on the squad of recursion infantry that they have going on that Nexus cap. However, recursion 10 seconds to go here, Bitter Gorge Garrison.
All 3 points capped as well.
It looks like it's
Most
going to
likely
be
going through.
I think it will be.
Yeah, if this goes through, which it has just now, if I'm VKATs, I'm really questioning when you kind of have to call it and say full send back to our home base, back to Nexus Alpha. Because to divide your pop like that and still lose lose Bitter Gorge, now you've already lost almost half of the timer at your home base. That's a severe loss that you're taking there.
Yeah, and as we can see, right, with Bitter Gorge Garrison gone, I mean, look at that quick back cap there from Recursion. See how they've already flipped Argent Pass, and Nexus Alpha's still getting contested. That's very well played. That's very well played. That is another reason as to why they're able to preserve that momentum, right? Because although they generated that momentum early on, they've preserved it by fast back caps and fast rotations. VKATs there redeploying from Nexus Alpha. Look, but a light assault or an infill from Recursion can now flip that point. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much Yeah, okay. There's a couple. No,
they run right back.
I mean, I understand needing to defend Argent Pass and needing to attack Nexus Secure Substation. When, at the end of the day, it's, you still need 1 or 2 people around that point and make sure you don't lose it.
Or at the very least to send a call back to your command lead to say, hey, we just had 2 squads of Recursion drop back at our home base.
Yeah, exactly right. Because the faster you hear it, the faster. There was, I think, there was a call from Juicer to call out someone, but I totally missed it. And it looks like we also missed it.
For that
It's like we also missed a bit of a VCAT's push here. Look at that C4. Again, Recursion known for lots of C4 usage, both on
Their
live
air,
and
I'd imagine,
events.
is giving VKATs hell on the outside of this building. This push is not easy for them.
Yeah, they're not even getting in. They're not contesting that max neither. And I mean, an NC max is difficult to contest at them. Best of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, that air control is just suffocating.
Recursion, VKATs having left their home base alone for without resecuring for as long as they did, Recursion has been able to devote their entire force here to Argent Pass without any concern of any back caps at Nexus, at the southern base. With the timer, because VKATs has to resecure before they can even send a back cap, so they can do this without any concern in the world.
It was a totally abandoned Recursion Galaxy which is going to get blown up. There's an attack or VCats are attempting to attack Nexus Secure Substation, but they're still back capped for now at Nexus Alpha. And Argent Pass, I think Argent Pass didn't pick up through. And the air fight continues. Look how many nanites have been contested.
I'm honestly surprised Recursion doesn't have more vehicle kills with how many scythes VKats has pulled, but like we've been saying, VKats has played so passively in the air.
What is this? Come on. This is a meme right here. This is a meme. No, you're getting back capped. You've got like a whole squad on Nexus Secure Substation now getting back capped.
Oh, here come the
At Nexus
galaxies.
Alpha. It's too late. Argent Pass goes through
Yep.
for Recursion, and we're approaching. We're approaching the. I mean, it's the same scoreline which has happened in the group stage. Oh wow, this is immersive. This POV
I love this.
with the competitive planet side graphic settings as well, and not so.
They're in it to win it. I don't blame them.
And not so Bushido jackhammer there from Zyros.
Still not a single infantryman from VKats walking into this point or attempt. It looks like they're stuck outside by their spawn.
I really want to know what VKats' plan here is, right? Because you've got 23 minutes left of this match, right? You've been beaten back into your Nexus base. You have vehicle control, you know, tentatively, okay. You have air presence, let's not say air control, and yet you're still losing. And the kill difference, by the way, is only 200 in favor of Recursion.
It's impressive that kill difference is that small. I mean, if I were VKats, I'd reach a point where Recursion kind of has this hold on you now. You're at your home base. Your objective is survive. You have to get into that point and just make sure that you don't get home base.
Yeah, so I think honestly a massive mistake here was a misallocation of nanite resources. Okay. But before we talk about that, VKats push, lots of C4 coming out again for
lots of
Recursion.
C4. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that might even reach their top 5 weapons.
Max is still alive for VKats though. Pouring one out for those engineers. Oh man. Oh, but the orbital. And that push is as good as gone. Oh.
That's a nice counter push coming out. You see that conch grenade?
Yeah.
That detonated just above the skiddy stairs. Seriously handicap those 6 people on the staircase there from VKats.
This is again a testament to Recursion's ability to maintain momentum. They time the orbital, they know they're down, they do a counter push, and they're at the home base. There's not many places to go, but they clear VKats out.
And Recursion, like, you could see the Recursion vehicles on the map here. So they're winning in every domain right now. Is that because they're getting outskilled? Because where's the VKats air presence? Where's the VKats armor? Is it outside the base? Okay, cool. We just see a Magrider to get destroyed. There's 3 tanks up there for Recursion versus the 3 VKats MPTs, and well, swiftly reduced to 2. But I think they're just getting beaten. I think they're just getting beaten in every domain. A new year and a new push for VKats onto the Nexus Alpha. I don't think it's going to work though. See Shades just reviving out in the open, not getting punished for that because there's so many recursion guns looking at that door.
And Recursion flanking them through the other side.
Oh yeah, good flank there from Blackson. Good aggression.
It's
This is
funny on
pretty.
paper.
This is
Yeah.
pretty much over. Look how far they've pushed out. They've actually managed to push down into the powerhouse doors, like 1 to 3 there. Like there should
Honestly, I
be
kind of
enough
expect them
pressure.
to rush the warp gate after this.
Yeah, well, I think if the match didn't end when this base gets capped, I think they would. This has been a serious performance. Like this is, dare I say, the performance of someone who's going to go on to win the whole thing. And of course, the winner of this match goes on to play the winner of Gobs versus Hour, which is the match after this one.
Which we will also be casting. Stay tuned.
Okay, well, VCats are still trying, but honestly, I think they're gonna call it soon. Oh my god!
Oh,
Oh, imagine getting a
oh my!
C4 on
Those
that.
Maddox are just. Oh,
That is a nasty angle to see. Just VCats on the VCats dead, and then just a whole squad of Recursion just doing it what the hell they like.
Recursion's infantry are feral on that corner. They're all vying for just that, just the opportunity to get one head.
But the VCats have managed to wear them down. I think. Oh, but
Oh,
I think
yep.
Recursion are
19
collapsing the point.
seconds.
Yeah, Recursion are collapsed on point, I think.
Oh.
That Max trying its best to survive. Yeah, Recursion now collapsing the point. As you can see, they're holding the corners of the room, trying to set up a little bit of a crossfire to stop VCats from pushing in, which they are trying to do now.
They're a little.
And it
They,
doesn't
they
look
are
like
a
they're
little
going
light
to
in
do
there
it.
though.
Nah, no chance. That's it.
The C4 right at the end.
Game
Oh.
over. Wow, that was quick. Okay, I mean, GG's. There's no interviews today, because of the fact that we're going to be going on to the next game afterwards. But hopefully the stats will pop up on screen. Does it look like it's come up just yet? Oh, okay. Never mind. The stats aren't going to be overlaid onto that screen, but here we go. But we do have on this screen. So top fraggers, Zyro, 65 kills in what was that, like a 30-minute match? Yeah, it was about 30 minutes.
Yeah, about
So
30 minutes,
that's
a
a
little less.
2 kpm in an outfit wars match against a good team who managed to make the semifinals. GG, fair play, well played. Let's go to vehicular kills. Connery casual, top of the board there for recursion. Whilst I don't know what that says. We'll just call them contact. Managing to top it out there for VCats. And actually, look at that vehicle kills. That's not a
Mhm.
massive difference, is it? However, although it's not a massive difference there, right? There's going to be a massive difference in impact, right? Because how many of those kills that the VCats got for vehicles, right? How many of them would have actually helped a, contribute to a cap, right? Because the um we saw the recursion air to ground, right? At key moments on base caps. We never saw that for VCats, not once. So although that statistic is really close, in terms of impact, it's not that great.
Yeah, I mean, we pointed this out multiple times throughout the match. I think on paper, when you see these things, you really have to question how Recursion dominated the map as much as they did. But
Mm.
I feel there were just a lot of moments where you see VCats pull these air balls, or they have armor on the road, and you have to question what their objective is and where they want to target those force multipliers. Because
Hmm.
you see that air, and then we go back to the bases, and the question immediately comes up: where did that air go? At the end, we saw their armor outside. You can maybe like conceptualize, hey, we want to eliminate recursion sunderers or their armor so that we can have a better attempt to push into the base. But when recursion is dominating as much as they are, you kind of just go into survival mode, and those resources are just wasted.
Yeah, and I want to actually move on to another point now that if we look at the kills, right, there's only about a 300 kill gap, right, which is not a massive difference. I'm sure you'd agree. And yet
Yeah,
we look at total revives: 339 for VCats, 311 for um for recursion, right? So the fact that recursion, right, got 300 more kills, give or take, and only 20 less revives goes to show that a lot of the VCats kill, like deaths, could have been more tradable, and yet for recursion, they were able to actually capitalize. They're actually able to capitalize on
yeah.
those kills.
I'd even argue to say that that kill difference that recursion has above VCats probably
Mm.
happen at the more important moments, such as those point pushes where they get cleared out as well.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree. Again, reminder for people just tuning in now for any potential interviews. That's not going to happen. We are going to be going over to the Gob versus Our match, which I think is going to be happening pretty soon. So apologies for that. Anyone tuning in for that. And I think there's actually one more thing I want to talk about here. Okay, one more thing I want to bring up, and that's the domain kills graph. So the way I look at this graph for the new viewers is infantry 79% for VCATs. So infantry was responsible for 79% of their VCATs kills, and for recursion only 70%. And actually, in my opinion, the 70% is a better stat because it shows that they're using maxes, which is 10% to VCATs is 3. That's a serious difference right there. Okay, and for me, that shows better combined arms usage from recursion. But also, Juice, I want to ask you a question. You know,
Go for it. Shoot.
the NC Max and recursion were playing as the new conglomerate today versus the VS Max, which is what VCats are playing as.
Mm,
I mean, the NC Max is far more useful, right? So much more powerful. I'm sure you'd agree.
completely agree. Yep.
Yeah, and
We saw at the end those Maddox were just shredding, and up close, NC Max is just always gonna
mhm.
win the coin flip.
So honestly, the the fact that you have this massive difference, and the fact that VCAT is one of, if not the only, VS team to make the semi-finals this year, should say a lot about where game balance is. Um, However, we won't dive too deep into that conversation because there's less busy minds who like to make Reddit posts and stuff about that sort of stuff, and I'll leave it to them. But I just want to put that out there. And let's have a quick look at the top kills. The Beetlegoose clearly overpowered. Look at
Whew.
that serious difference
Nerf
right
it
there.
again.
And get rid of it. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Please don't.
Yes,
Don't
completely
don't,
joking.
don't ruin VS as a faction, please.
They
And the
need the
God
help,
Saw,
please. I don't even play
the God
VS.
Saw and
Just
the
give it
Gore
to them.
Saw. I mean, look at the Maddox as well.
The
Like
Maddox, yeah. Hmm.
Maddox responsible for over 1/10 of recursions kills today. 1/10. That's that's something. That's pretty good.
That's some well greased NC Liberty right there.
Indeed.
Ooh,
I think in a second we're going to be throwing it over to a break. Juice, any final words on Recursion versus VCats?
I'd say GG's to both teams. VCats definitely their opener from their last match with Recursion. There was a massive improvement. Recursion, I mean, kudos to their ability to move around the map. Uh, Congrats to them, and looking forward to see them in the finals match.
Indeed, and let's be honest, we all want to know who they're going to play. Will it be a rematch of last year? Will it be again in the finals next week? Will it be Recursion versus Gob, or will it be Recursion versus Our? Find out with us after this break.
teams start in their respective warp gates. We've got the Alpha and the Omega teams color-coded in red and blue respectively. Rules are no construction, no Colossus, and no Bastions. Wow, that is massive. That are crossing the road. My God, this is a slaughterhouse. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the stream. I am, of course, Dubnus, and I am joined here by Juicebox. Juicebox, hello.
Hello, hello.
Now, I think it's fair to say we're here with another semi-final match, right? We just watched Recursion stomp VCats. Are we going to see the same thing here, do you think?
Gobs and Hour have gone toe to toe previously in this tournament. Again, kind of the same perspective I want to go in this with that we went into with the Recursion VCats match. I want to see how Hour adapts. I want to see if they've been able to learn. I mean, they had the opportunity to watch this VCats game as well. That just happened. I wonder if they're going to be able to learn anything from that match.
True, but look, as someone who's commanded before, if you're learning stuff about the game like 5 minutes before your match in the
Oh,
semi-finals,
it's definitely not
you're big
ideal.
trouble,
Yeah.
Juice.
Yeah, no.
Big
These
trouble.
are like, yeah. It's never ideal, but if you can take anything away, you hope for the best.
Indeed, indeed. Now, so today we have our versus Gob, and as you mentioned, these two teams have met before. In fact, it was the very first match that these two teams played this season. And I got a little statistic for you here, Juicebox. It took Gob 22 minutes, roughly. I'm not too good at maths, but about
Ooh,
22 minutes to warp
oh
gate
my.
hour. Now, to put that into context, the recursion game, Recursion versus VCats that we just watched, right? That took about 30 minutes, okay,
A
for
little under,
VCats.
like
A little under.
28, I want to say.
And here's another thing,
But yeah,
right? Guess which team is the only team that have beaten Gob this season?
is it
Indeed, it's
recursion?
Recursion. It is
Oh
indeed
my
Recursion.
goodness.
So it's not looking too good for our. Okay, it's not looking too good. Now, I just want to say a quick thank you to a few people here. We are going to have two POVs from Gob, which is going to be provided by TJ and Colin. And also shout out quickly to the PSB production crew. We got Zolfa doing all the producing, and then we've got Corrales, Angry Bird, DKC, Infills, and Sylvanius all providing the extra cameras because, once again, we're going to be hitting you with a multi POV stream, and hopefully it's as successful as the Recursion versus VCats game. Let's talk now a little bit about statistics because I do like to do a little bit of pre-match analysis. Okay.
I love me some numbers. Hit me with them.
Okay. So the first number I want to hit you with this is the kill differential from their last match, right? Which it only took Gob 22 minutes to warp your hour. The
Actually,
kill difference.
before you even give me
Okay.
the kill difference, what is the minimum amount of time that it would take for someone to warp gate on Nexus?
I think it's about 20 minutes.
About 20
I think
minutes,
it's
right? That there's not a
yeah.
lot of margin there.
No, there's not. But the kill difference was just under 300, right? It was 270.
Ooh,
That is not a massive
really?
kill difference. Yeah,
For a
it's
22-minute home base.
match.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason why, and there's actually quite a few reasons, right? It's not just because Gob is a skilled outfit, which is true. It is, right? But it also has a lot of experience from previous Outfit Wars. Of course, they won last season of
Mm-hmm.
Outfit Wars here on Nexus, right? Um, they beat Recursion last year in the final, I think it was. And also, there's a few key players for Gobs, right? Um, they've got some strong shooters, okay, like Gnidia and Powered, right? These sort of people. But also they've got
Mm-hmm.
some key figures in their team. Uh, Yami, TJ. These are both players who I've actually played with um, in Lane Smash specifically, where we were the first NA team to win that Lane Smash season, right?
Oh, I remember this.
So they have some very experienced people, and that's not just on the that's not they're not just ground players as well. If you want to look at just ground players, I mean, you've got like Jump Rope, Eternal Rebel, these sort of players, right? In the air, they've got people like Colin, which is of course going to be one of our POVs for today. However, I don't want to totally discount our, right? Because as you said, right, if they've learned from the last match, right? We're getting corrected in chat. Warp gates can happen in about 14 and a half, 15 and a
14.5.
half minutes. So there's a little bit of leeway there.
Okay,
It's about
okay.
7 minutes. So thank you, Apollo, for that correction. So going back to what you were saying earlier about if Gob have learned anything, sorry, if ours learned anything, are they then able to make those changes, those adaptations? And if so, are they actually going to be able to put up more of a fight this time? And
Mm,
perhaps, maybe we see like a 5-4 win for our, but I'm going to be honest now, the chances of that, they're pretty low, right? But if they can,
yeah.
all the more entertaining for us, right? Now, we should be going into opener screen very soon, and I'm sure we're going to see, the usual loads of aircraft either side. And here we go. We got Gob with just loads of Reavers and loads of Galaxies,
Loads
a
and
couple
loads.
Vanguards down there, but apart from that, doesn't. Oh, and I do see a Liberator. And then what do you see at the Owl Warp Gate there?
I am honestly more surprised at the number of galaxies from the Gob side. That is a lot of galaxies for an
Mm,
opener.
mm. Yeah, so a
I'd
few of them
imagine
I'm sure will
most are
be like
repair
decoys.
galaxies, but I
I mean,
I
you can see they all are. They all are.
yes.
There's not a single. I mean, the one just
Yep.
out of
Hmm.
frame that could be like ammo. I'm also interested in the fact they've got a couple libs. I do like the Liberator play.
Oh
It
yeah,
just does a little bit
liberators
more damage
with
onto those.
competent pilots are very dangerous. You do not want to be
Wait, they
going up
could.
against those.
Well, they could damage those. Um, they can damage those hour galaxies really well. And the reason why I
Yes.
call them hour galaxies is because there isn't a Liberator there, at least not on screen for hour. But there is
No.
a Sunderer. There's a Sunderer and two Prowlers there. And a couple of Harassers as well.
I will
Still
say
Reigns. Okay,
not a
here we
single
go.
Valkyrie on either side. Here we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, that just means they shouldn't be using them for quick drops here. Here we go. The air battle to the side. The opener for our last semi-final on Emerald today. Our versus Gob. Who will join Recursion in the final?
I do appreciate
First
Gob's
blood goes to
willingness to
Gobs.
use the dervish. They had a few dervishes in there.
Dervishes or Dervi?
Very good question.
And there is an early lead for Gob here. There's our Galaxies maintaining good formation. The Mozzies staying around it. And indeed, again, like we saw in the last game, right? The Galaxies are using the terrain to try to shield themselves a little bit from the ongoing firefight. And we switch over to Colin, who is one of our Gob POVs today.
Oh, look at that tracking. That is beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, you know what, fair enough, that's pretty good. I'm pretty critical of their players, but you know what, that's pretty good. There was a quick cap going on at Granite Head here. I wanted to see if there's going to be anything as well going on at Bitter Gorge Garrison, but it looks like those vehicles are just, can we follow those vehicles? Stay on this camera, let's follow those vehicles and see where they go. Because they're heading up to Bitter Gorge, which is exactly where I want to go. And
Yeah, that
just
Thunder's
Delta,
got a
of
nice
course.
little security with those vanguards.
Yeah, nice little convoy, even if they are slipping and sliding, like they're a theme park. Talking about fun, it looks like it's fun for hour right now for Bitter Gorge, because there's 1 minute 30 left on that cap. Although I
Still
don't see
very
any
quiet though. I'm surprised there's not more infantry down on the ground yet, but I mean it's like when the store first opens up in the morning. You kind of got to let people trickle in.
So I want to point something out here, right? What Gob is doing here, they're removing the enemy vehicles, and that's what I call isolating the area or the point. And okay, let's put a pin in that for just a quick second here, because Gob pushed over that hill with their Reavers and did some serious damage.
Yes, I meant to point that out when the match first started, because again, we're kind of seeing they're staying by their galaxies. They know that's their safe spot. They get repairs, but Gobs was not afraid to go over that. I was seeing a few Reavers poke over. I'm not surprised that they've kind of overwhelmed and like hopped over that little ridge to do a little more damage.
And we saw in that POV, right, that Gob clearly want to get the middle base, right? They really want Granite Head Reactor, and the vehicle fight here from Gob to help secure the area to the west of Bitter Gorge Garrison, which is why we're seeing them fight at Argent Pass. That's a good play, right? Because you're denying the ability to use different spawns other than spawn beacons or airdrops at that northern base.
No
last second save, maybe
at neither Bitter Gorge or Granite Head. Both went through without any conflict. That is very interesting.
You saw Gob trying to get there in the last second.
At the last,
but they were just too late. They were just straight up just too late. And as you say, Granite Head Reactor does go through for Gob. So actually, we've got pretty much the same match going on right now between what we just witnessed, right, for VKTZ and Recursion, right? Recursion did what Gob's done, right? In fact, the same warp gates as well, right?
Yeah.
But the key point here,
yes,
Recursion have taken Arazek, and they're also now, I think, is what you're about to say. They're also now on on Bitter Gorge, and they're on next to Secure Substation. So 14.5 minute match? Question mark. What is Our gonna do here? Because look, the kill difference isn't huge, but they're already on the back foot in terms of momentum, right? They're getting back capped at both available lattice links, okay, which means they're not able to push out, and that means they're not able to spread the Gob forces. And if you're not able to kind of stop outfits from having a concentration of force, right? Especially when you know historically you lost pretty badly, right? It's going to make life a lot more difficult, because it means that as the FC you can't really do any map play. You just kind of have to stick it out.
Yep. I think these bases, I have not seen a lot of infantry, and I think it's strange, because when you look at the stats, the vehicle kills are almost half of infantry kills right now. It seems like a pretty high ratio. I feel like both teams are kind of committing to their force multipliers right now. They're staying in their vehicles. I'm surprised I'm not seeing more infantry movement on points.
Yeah. So the camera's just been next to Secure Substation for the last minute or so. We saw Game Boy to secure the point. Happy days. You know, put up a motion spotter, saw nothing, and he left. And yeah, Gob have just at the last second just walked back into the point, totally uncontested. Speaking of getting contested though, we're pushing up the staircase now. Highlight Barrier going to stop them. C4 comes out, good. C4 does a little bit of damage, but not to
we saw how
solidify
dangerous
the hold.
C4 was in the Recursion match. They had a lot of C4 and they put it to very good use.
I mean, good medic gameplay coming out. It's just a shame they weren't ready for that push from Empowered. One of the players I mentioned earlier clearing the way. And as we watch,
we're starting to see.
The air to ground, that's rough.
Yep.
And you know, VKTZ, when they were getting air to grounded, you know, obviously they were playing VS, right? Ours playing as TR, so they do have the option of the Striker. Very powerful ground to air deterrent for heavy assaults, but it's just not
orbital. They're just trading back and forth.
Yeah, you know what I need? I need like a buzzer.
Oh no!
No one saw that. Quickly, switch camera, switch camera.
Mountains are the best AA.
Yeah, confirmed. Next is secure substation. Good push here from Alva. That's a nice push. Nice use of utility there with the EMP. I do like that. That was good. They managed to now resecure that base, but oh my
That air
oh,
is brutal for Hour right now. They've got to
yeah.
get some sort of the spawn outside of the base that is not their spawn room, because they're not going to have a good time pushing out of this. But I do wonder if Gob still has their vanguards up, and if they've pushed up to prevent any type of counterplay with vehicles from Hour.
Yeah, but we can't see any vehicles on that mini-map here. And as we go to TJ's point of view, just doming fools with the jackhammer. I mean, it looks like
it's going to go through for
yeah, but
Gobs.
like, where's the counterplay? Right, we saw a little bit of counterplay at Nexus Secure Substation from Hour. That was good. It was a good bit of counterplay. But where's the counterplay here at Bit of Gorge? There's nothing. I mean, you see one red dot there, but that's it. And look, oh no,
Ooh.
was that
Oh yeah, no.
oh. That was trippy as heck.
Those Maddox. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of those Maddox later down the line.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that oh my gosh, look how
There's
quickly
not a
they're
single
here.
person. Yeah, and there's
Was that
no
a,
one
was
here
that a
from Hour to-
Sunderer?
Yeah.
I think they must have had a Sunderer there because I don't think that was
Yeah.
a Lodestar, right? So oh,
It's under.
rough.
There's a parking garage under that area.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
a Sunderer.
And they're even bringing
And they
in
have
another
more
Sunderer.
rolling up right now. They're on fire, but
Well, they still count.
actually, are those our Sunders?
No, that was an NC Sunderer followed by a TR Harasser and Proud. Oh no, I don't know who's. Yeah, that is a TR Harasser as we switch over to TJ's POV, playing very aggressively.
Oh,
Takes
those
out
Maddox. Oh,
Okay.
the range.
So that's about
that was kind
25.
of nasty.
That's 25 meters, if not more. Some would argue that they shouldn't be able to do that, but nonetheless, here they are, and they have done it. And in fact, it looks like Gob are going for a very quick game here. Again, first match of the tournament for both these teams. They face each other. They're here now, deciding who goes to the grand finals, who goes to the third versus fourth playoff, and it's not looking good,
honestly
bro.
concerned. I'm concerned for Hour right now because this is the second base now where we're seeing them exclusively coming out of the spawn room. There's no force multiplier counterplay. You can see Mossy's going in and out of the warp gate in the background, but I'm not really sure. They're probably committing to Nexus Secure.
Yeah, they're just disappearing.
But
Can
it's-
we?
it's-
Okay, we're gonna we'll switch over to the air fight in just a second here because we need to see why it's so dominant. There we are. Oh no, not air to ground. No, no. Oh my gosh. Yeah, 30k goes down there, and here's the air fight. They're over the
Those are
other
some
side of the
losses, but-
map.
And they're not over contested territory is my concern. This is I mentioned this in the last match as well. Like you can see the resources are being used, but you really have to question where the objectives lie. I would kind of expect these Mossies to be over Nexus Secure, providing some sort of support for people on the ground trying to resecure point.
Yeah, so what a lot of the top teams do, especially Goblin Recursion, they have like flex pilots, and they have a couple pilots which are they're given freedom to ground pound, right? So while that main air battle is going on, right, there's a couple, you know, only 2, maybe 3 ESF pilots going to go do some ground pounding, right?
Yep.
And that is where the impact comes from. This is what I was talking about in the Recursion VKTZ game, where, okay, you don't actually need air control all the time in all places, right? You don't need air superiority, right? You only need localized air control when it matters. And here comes the push now for Hour onto Argent Pass. Those maxes, that's just not fair. That's
Actually,
just not fair.
Oh, I'm actually
And
just
all
realizing
the spawn beacons.
the timer isn't going down on Granite Head
No, because
and
they've
the
only got.
Nexus Secure at the same time. They do
Yeah,
have
because they only had the
points
1
there.
point at Granite Head. And obviously they need 2. Good push there from Hour onto Argent Pass. It looks
Very
like they
nicely
used
secured.
so many resources.
Yes.
They must have used so many nanites here. And yeah, Gob have used quite a few as well. But don't forget, those maxes were alive for a long time, right? Over 3 minutes they were alive for. Oh no, they haven't even given up. They're still going back in. The point's flashing again. Oh no. Oh, this isn't looking good for an Hour.
Ooh. Oh, the spawn beacons. That's what got him.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Hour never able to control that back door.
Mm-hmm. That really.
The cow
did it
chops. I
for
mean, the
him.
cow chops are well placed, but it's just so aggressive from Gob here. This is like Gob watching like the previous match, Recursion versus VKTZ, and saying, "Okay, we saw your warp gate. Yeah, let us show us. Let us show you guys what we can do, right? Like they're getting in their face, and they're fighting. Nexus Secure substation again. Just they're winning
Argent
their
Pass.
infantry fights,
Yep.
and the kill difference isn't massive, right? It's only 180 or so, and yet the score difference now 7-2. That's rough.
I mean, you can see right here, a bunch of our infantry just lopped over on the outskirts of these points. They just can't. They don't have the support to get inside.
Yeah, this is actually rough. I'm not sure there's even a counterplay. Like, yeah, there's lessons learned from like the first match. But I mean, you've got like 3 or 4 people there occupying AA turrets because
It just seems like there's an overcommitment to the air play, and the air doesn't seem to have a defined objective. The air,
Well, no,
I
so-
feel like.
yeah. No, go on.
I just feel like the air's objective seems to be take out Gob's air, but it's kind of an endless task. It's not going to get done. They kind of have to allocate where they want this air to do and like how they're going to support. It seems like their logistics are just disconnected.
Yeah, the combined arms aren't so combined. I
Exactly.
think that's fair. I mean, oh, okay.
Ooh.
The vehicle's moving down again. Switch over to Colin POV. I'm just trying to see actually here, like think what could Hour do differently here. But honestly, there's not much. Right, Nexus Secure substation goes through, and like, I mean, you could, like, if you had the opportunity to maybe like move your forces around in a really nice way, potentially, right, you could have a counterplay. But because you don't have any air control, and in fact, I'd probably go as far to say there's no air influence either. There's just not much you could do. I like the harasser in the doorway there from Hour, shelling. I think that's a bulldog, or is it a cobalt? I'm not. Yeah.
It's a bulldog.
Yeah, it looks like a bulldog, I think.
Yep.
I do like that. That's a nice little play they've got there. But they're back
But it goes
capped.
down.
And
I
it's
think
just-
there, like, that was a missed opportunity, I would say, because it took Gobs a long time to get onto that point here at Nexus Alpha, and they're still,
Well, I mean,
still are not there fully. They like, Hour has a
Yeah.
chance here to recoup, get pop in a galaxy, something that's gonna survive, and just drop on a point. Because I'd imagine Gobs is, and we can see right there at Nexus Secure, timer's ticking, something is happening. Which at this point I really hope for Hour.
Yeah, I mean, we hope just on like that entertainment value and bit of entertainment value coming in now on Next Alpha with that push from Gob, but that's a lot of guns facing it. See that A-Flick leading the way, managing to get through the doorway as a push on the other side starting to happen now. So Gob, you know, they're allocating a fair few resources here. Grenades going in. They're starting to get in there. They're starting to. However, they're now back capped at both bases. But they're tenuous holds at best, you can tell. Nexus Secure Substation is flickering. Argent Pass is flickering. These are seriously tenuous holds. In fact, Argent Pass is now fully resecured. Jukasar lost the 1v1, and that might have been the only opportunity that Owl would have had, because as we can see, Pogmite standing next to the point, managing to get away. Revives coming in now by him and Spy. And those NC Maxes, I mean, have a word. I mean, I'm just going to quickly bring up the top weapons, just quickly. Let's have a quick look here. And as you can see, the Maddox are already on there, along with the Jackhammer, the Rocket Pod, the Rotary, Gorsaw. I mean, all weapons. You know, I'm sure we can all agree we've had bad experiences playing against NC when they're wielding those. Good attempt here from Hour to get a little bit of control.
I don't see enough pop here to support these pushes. Like I can understand where the intent is, where you have this much pop back at Nexus Alpha, but with the time that they had and the time that it took Gobs to get enough people here to really get into point, you could have left like maybe a squad and a half at most here, just to hold them off. And get like some serious pop on the other bases.
Okay, so this is rough. Like we've been, I think, about 20 minutes in or more in the game now. Yeah, about 20 minutes in the game, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a change really to the way the last game went. Like, you know, I'm seriously trying to think, what can you do differently, but it doesn't look like there's anything. So, you know, there's not a lot more analysis I can give. We are where we are with this. I mean, the fact that you're getting air to grounded at your home base, whilst
at this point, yeah, I'd be surprised if they weren't out of resources at this point.
Well, yeah, you're going to be nanite drained, right? You spent the last 20 minutes fighting for your life. I mean, yeah, you bit of Gorge Garrison, but then you couldn't do anything with it, right? Just like VKTZ against Recursion, you couldn't do anything with it. And so, okay, yeah, you attempted like something, but for the last like 20 minutes you've been on the constant back foot. Like, they didn't even contest Arazek, so, and that caused them extra problems, because then an extra secure substation was always going to start flipping.
And reminder, they were able to get a small back cap at Granite Head. Had they contested Arazek, that would not have, they could have taken advantage of that. They wouldn't have been on the back foot as
potentially,
as they were on that southern front.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, right, if you're playing on in this match right now as an hour player, right, if you're walking out your spawn room and getting air to grounded, there's not much you can do. And in fact, what they are doing is switching out the decimators probably for strikers. Again, that heavy rocket launcher that I was talking about earlier for the TR, to like provide a little bit of AA, but it's really just not too it's just not fun at that point, right? To get header grounded like that, especially in a semi-final. Push from Hour on the rear staircases. It's going well. It's got some momentum. They're starting to push Gob back into the big room now, but they're getting C4 out. Lots of C4 coming out now. The resonate from Gob. That's going to be a huge resonate as the resonates go off. Competitive planet side happening right now before our very eyes.
Are getting low.
Oh, boom, 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 boom. Max
Power's
is going
still
down.
up.
Look how many
but
resonates are
Gob
going
is
on.
getting just as many resonates.
But I think Gob are winning.
Yep.
Yeah,
Gob
that
saves
safeguard, the safeguard, heavy, just coming out swinging.
Competitive planet side people. Oh man.
Welcome to planet side. At its competitive level, res grenades galore. Really good for padding your resonates stats actually, right? Like if you've never really used them before.
I'm a medic main, I would know.
Oh, medic mains. Anyway, I'm only kidding. Played a fair bit of medic myself, alright. The jackhammer P taken out. See, losing a heavy but the heavy kills a medic is always a positive trade in pretty much every scenario. Because the heavy can get revived, but the medic can't revive, so, like, themselves when they're dead. And you don't want another medic having to revive another medic, right? You'd always rather...
You definitely do not. That is lost opportunity.
I mean, speaking of lost, I think this match is indeed lost.
Yeah,
it's not looking...
Not seeing, yeah.
Not looking too great right now. I mean, we've played about 24 minutes now. Oh, that was a rogue peak. Just a whole like half squad, if not more, of Gob just peeking that staircase.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not something that I would have wanted to do.
You can see how we're grouping up down at the bottom of these stairs to the south.
Yeah, I mean they haven't got control. Have you noticed they haven't got
pushing
control
out of their warp gate? Sorry.
They've not got control over either of the powerhouse buildings, right? And it's just like, what can you do, right?
Like they're literally pushing out of their warp gate. Like this is as far back as they can be.
Yeah, and the kill difference is. I mean, the kill difference is actually a little bit worse right now. It's worse than the first time they played this tournament. And I mean, they held on for longer, right? So that's an improvement in terms of the timer here. But that's it. It's GG.
Congrats,
man.
To
Both of the semi-final matches were under 30 minutes.
I'm honestly surprised
I
that
think
this far into the tournament that we're still getting matches where they're just steamrolls.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not, right? Because the way teams work this season and have worked every season, it's just how teams form, right? The better players want to play with the better players, and there is a serious like skill difference between those who play on Jaeger religiously, which a lot of the God players have done in the past, compared to other teams in tournament. So here are the top kills for both teams. I mean, what can you say? 1.1k to 700. That's rough. I'm actually going to switch over to those top weapons. Let's check back in on that screen. Oh my!
The Maddox
the
are on
Maddox.
there twice.
Maddox are
No,
back.
the left and the right one. Oh god.
Both of them are back, and I want to point out as well, the rocket pods, right? When I'm casting, I always talk about how important the air domain is, and this is why, right?
Yep.
Like, So much damage done by just rocket pods alone. And we're going to switch over to domain kills here now. 66% of gob kills were by infantry,
Wow.
whilst 90% of ours kills were done by infantry. That means that gob, right, had 34% of their kills responsible by combined arms. And if you're going to play an outfit wars, you might as well go combined arms. And this is why, right? Because you can get such a dominant win like the one we just saw.
Mm-hmm. I'd point out too, the exact same differential in max kills, that 10% getting into that
Mm-hmm.
home base with NC maxes, it's just a recipe uh, for some serious numbers. And then that the 20% air kills also on Gob's side was kind of impressive. That yeah, you saw it the
Mm-hmm.
whole match.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, a 50 differential in vehicle kills, so yeah, not bad, right? It's not like that's not like a massive difference compared to some of the other matches we've seen. But then again, if this match had went on, oh, I almost said an hour longer, and then I would have been crucified by chat for that pun. Um, if that match went on for any longer, perhaps that difference would have increased. Top revives, here we go. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. 383 revives, considering you've got what, like a four, um, a like a 4 to 500 kill difference is
Yeah.
that's pretty good considering our 457. I mean, then when you factor in, like the way I look at the stat is you then factor in, okay, what is the kill differential after the revives? And actually, right, Gob are still up by, multiple
By a
hundreds in
lot.
terms of kills,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I interpret that stat because
Mm-hmm.
that shows you how much impact each res is having for both teams. Heals surprisingly like the same, but I bet if let's switch over to max repairs, yeah, look at that.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, if you're going to be running maxes, please repair them, people. um, because especially right when you're TR versus NC, right, your maxes are like less powerful, in some regards. Because I don't think we saw any pounder maxes which are good at taking out other maxes, but they're not great at taking out infantry. But then you have like the NC max with the Mattox, right, which is good for doing both. So a little bit of unbalance there inherent in the game, but still, you have to repair your maxes. But then again, Juice, let's be honest, it's pretty difficult to repair your maxes when you're getting air grounded. So
Oh,
I can
very true.
understand. I can understand why you would have issues with this, right? So I was hoping to, yeah. I mean, we've covered domain kills. I'll bring it back up just again to show the golf while we talk. Um, Juice, do you have any closing thoughts on this? Because on either game, because we've just ran through both games really quickly here. Both of them are stomps. Both of them are warp gate victories. Any thoughts on this on the last two games and perhaps for the grand final?
Mm. I mean, at this point, we just based on the numbers, you can see these players can go toe to toe. But
Hmm.
PlanetSide, you need a lot more than just being able to fight one on one. There's the combined arms aspect. You got to be able to read the map, rotate around the map. Gobs and Recursion have just proven again that they are masters at it. I'm very excited for the final. And even with that, I mean, testament to Our and VCats for putting up the fights that they did. They're going to get to fight against each other too. And I think based off the performance that we saw today, uh, we're hopefully going to get an even match between them too, which I think will be very entertaining for next week. No, you don't get to the semifinals without putting in the work. A lot of matches over the holidays that we all had to go through. So I mean, kudos to both teams, to all teams that participated. And congrats for getting this far. Congrats to the winners. Congrats to Gobs again. Always fun to watch these things in cast. So let's look on to the finals next week.
Okay. Just some closing thoughts from me. Two really good games, despite actually them being quite quick. It it actually showcases, right, the skill of both of Gob and Recursion to be able to go against Aaron and VCats, who, on live especially, right, they're able to put up resistance, they're able to do good fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you then come to Outfit Wars, right? And you kind of boil the game down to 48 versus 48. Who has the better air players is a massive factor, but also who has the better infantry players and who also has the better teamwork, right? We saw that for the combined arms there for Gob. I'll tell you now, right? If Gob put out, like if they play as well as they did tonight, and Recursion play as well as they did tonight next week, and they both play their full strength rosters, next week is going to be one incredible grand final. And, Recursion, they beat Gob earlier this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Gob beat Recursion last season in the grand final. So they're currently 1-1, right? They're currently
This is the
1-1
big one.
on like their last two matches. And to be honest, it's pretty close to call. I can't call it, not right now, right? And I don't think there's many people who could call it, at least not from like an objective point of view. Okay, right. I think that's us done, Juice. Thank you everyone for watching. A quick thank you again to the people behind the multi POV, because myself and Juice, we're not the ones providing the cameras. That in fact goes to Infil Squalis, Sylvanius, Angry Bird, DKC, and another thank you again to Zolfa for being the producer, bringing it all together. Because without them, a stream like this can't happen. So thank you to all those people. Now, with that being said, get hyped for next week. Get hyped for the Emerald Grand Final, Recursion versus Gob. TUB announced what time that will be, right? Get hyped for the third, fourth decider match because between VCats and Hour, because that's also going to be a really good match. And I guess get hyped for Connery if you're into Connery, because Connery's playing later, I guess.
Woo! Connery! Yeah!
Thank you everyone for watching. I have been Dominus, it's been a pleasure. My co-caster has been Juice. Juice.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to next week.